Today I'm going to speak about design education. As you all know, I'm a self-taught designer, which means I taught design to my own self. Which, by the way, is the unconventional way of doing things. The conventional way, of course, is by enrolling yourself into a design school. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the nitty-gritties associated with learning design, either by yourself or by enrolling into a design school so that you can ultimately decide what would work for you the best. Actually, we are going to talk about all these things. Yes, I have a special guest with me in the studio today, so stay tuned. Hey awesome people, welcome to my channel. This is Sapta, and if you are here for the first time, this is the place where I help designers build and scale their career with tips, suggestions and tutorials. So if you're into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Self-learning design is straightforward. You know the destination already. You want to be a designer, solve problems for millions of people, work for your dream companies and so on. You just need to reach there. But you probably do not know the path to reach there. So what do? You build your own path in a way that best fits your need. Since you're building this path just for yourself, you can construct in a way that just works for you without having to bother what somebody else would react to this path. You may choose to know about human psychology from a counselor friend, interactions from a YouTuber, research from books, blog posts. You have tons of options to choose from. You may also choose to spend less time on things that you're naturally good at and more time on things that you're not so good at. This way, you can optimize your learning process, which can potentially save you a lot of time. Also, you won't have to appear for the entrance exams. Yes, every good design school has an entrance exam. You don't have to pay the fees, and of course, you don't have to spend 4 to 5 years of your life in a college. If I were to compare it with food, say gajar ka halwa, let's assume you have a unique taste and you would want to make your own halwa, something which works for you the best. You can prepare it as per your needs with the ingredients and the flavors that you like instead of settling for a generic one that is sold in restaurants. But here's the thing, when you make your own halwa, there is a possibility of it being a complete disaster as well, isn't it? In the same way, when you design your own path, you try, you fail, learn from your mistakes, learn from the mistakes of others, your experiences, and of course, the internet. In short, there's a lot of uncertainty in the path that you build for yourself, and it involves a lot of trial and error as well. What makes it even more challenging is the fact that you're also walking along the same path that you're constructing at the same time. So yes, you can potentially create a perfect pathway for yourself which is best suited for your learning needs. But there's also a good probability of you going complete south as well. For self-learning, you'll have to step out of your comfort zone and be an absolute hustler. Trust me, it's very difficult to achieve it without having very high levels of discipline. It might sound easy when you speak to other self-learned designers because the fact that you know them itself implies that they have done well in their journey of self-learning. But that isn't the case all the time. You might not have heard much from the folks for whom the plans didn't quite work out. After listening to all this, if you feel self-learning isn't really your thing, you always have the option of doing it formally by enrolling yourself in a design school. Here's the thing about design school. In design school, wait a minute, I just said that I'm a self-learner. So I'm certainly not the best person to talk about this, but I have someone really special in the studio who is much more qualified to speak about the topic. And guess what? This is the same person who also composes all the jingles and the musics that you hear in my videos. So all over to him.
Hi everyone, I'm Sargam. I'm a final year Bachelor of Design student at the IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. Well, in the simplest of explanations, design is all about using a bit of logic, a bit of common sense, and maybe a little bit of aesthetic sense to solve a given problem. But you know what? It's quite possible that you can already do those things. It's possible that you already know what I've learned in my past 4 years of study. Looking back at my experience at a design school, I can think of a few points that might give you an edge over a self-learning experience. Let me explain. Like any other college, we have courses and assignments that are spanned over a period of 4 years for the BDS program. But these assignments are not always directly related to design. You're not taught how to make an awesome app or, a fun loading screen animation. You're not taught how to use Figma or XD or After Effects or any of those tools. And as students, we used to complain about that quite a bit. But our professors would say that you must first forget everything that you've learned in your school days. You see, the focus is more on a conceptual understanding of design rather than a transactional agenda where you learn ABC so that you can do XYZ. Let me give you an example. We had an assignment where the brief was to make a realistic drawing of an animal in as much detail as possible. I had chosen the gharial, and I remember spending hours and hours in my hostel room fussing about the details. Similarly, there was another assignment where we had to draw a man-made product, and in that case I had chosen a pair of bathroom slippers. So what was the point, you might ask? How is it related to design, or specifically UX, something that I was interested in? You see, the point of the assignment was not to make me better at drawing. The point of the assignment was to force the students to be sensitive about the small details, things that you would normally ignore. And visual sensitivity is a vital skill for any designer to have. There's another instance where we had to perform a play on the streets of Mumbai. Ridiculous, right? We thought so too. But when you have to scream your dialogue in front of hundreds of people, you lose all forms of inhibition. You learn to be comfortable in your own skin. You learn to speak without fear. And that is something that is useful to not just a designer, but to any professional. If you're a follower of pop culture, you might have watched a movie called The Karate Kid. In that movie, the sensei or the master makes his student do a set of seemingly useless tasks, like cleaning a car or painting the fence. And that annoys our student, our protagonist, to almost a breaking point. But in an epic scene, it's revealed that all of those tasks were actually the most important lessons the student could learn. Being in a design school is kind of like that. You can always watch a YouTube video or read an article on Medium to master a technique or a tool, but you can't really expect a 20-minute YouTube video to teach you things like sensitivity or confidence or intuition. These things take years, 4 years or more in the case of a design degree. The other valuable advantage of being in a design school is that you get an amazing community. You have your classmates, your seniors, your juniors, and your professors. And if you're at a reputed institute, the professors will be highly experienced. And you can easily trust their judgment, which is a huge sense of relief for a young designer. Also, it's incredible being surrounded by awesome designers who can give you feedback at any time of the day because they live right next to you in your hostels. When you're in the right environment, it's much easier to focus and get in the zone. Now, let's talk about finance. How much does it cost to get into a design school, to get educated in design? Well, the general trend is that the government colleges are more affordable than the private ones. Their fee structures are usually available on their websites. They're just a simple Google search away. But you might want to take into account some additional expenses that might occur. For example, you might want a powerful computer that can handle all the work that you do. Or you might want a graphics tablet if you want to do some digital art. Apart from electronics, you might have to buy papers, pencils, pens, sketch pens, markers, colors, and more for your projects and assignments. And professional grade stationery can get quite pricey. But don't be afraid, because pro-grade equipment isn't compulsory. And most colleges offer some sort of scholarship or financial aid if you need it. If you're worried that the ship has sailed and it's too late for you to go to college, or that you should have thought about design earlier, you can always opt for a master's degree. An MDisk classroom has students coming in from diverse fields. So whatever your background might be, you'll fit right in. In 2 years, you can get a very focused approach to design, which could be an excellent way to get the ball rolling. Getting enrolled in a design school might not be the tailor-made experience that you crave for, but it's definitely a path that you can walk on without worrying too much about falling down. It's a sense of relief, you see.
Now that you know both sides of the story, you have a fair idea of what it takes to self-learn and what it is like being at a design school in India. If you're a professional in any field and you wish to switch to UX, I would say self-learning is a viable option because it is actually possible, and since you have been a professional, I would assume you are disciplined enough to learn a new skill, UX in this case. If you're a high school student and you're thinking of taking design as your profession in the future, then opting for a BDes degree from one of the design schools in India would be a great option for you too, of course, if finances allow you to do that. So that was the video, folks. Please like and share this video in your network, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It motivates me to create more content for you. This is Sapta. See you guys in the next one.